Oh, hi. Just to confirm where I'm at again this week. But you know what makes me feel better is making stuff. Also, it's been below zero this week. We were out of power for a couple days, which also meant the internet was down. No cell service whatsoever. That's a good mood recipe for someone stuck at home in a panini if I ever heard one. Panini is cool kid slang for this. So I'm gonna make myself some slipper boots. You can too, because there's a free pattern and blog post walking you through all the steps. I probably didn't even follow them correctly, but I got a usable end result, so whatevs. Do this however you want. I'll link in the description. It's a Tilly and the Buttons pattern. I find hers the easiest patterns to follow no matter what type of thing you're making, so this is for any level of sewer. I figure this is pretty straightforward to explain to everyone. There's not a ton of pieces going on, and at least my feet will feel the warmth of a hug. Let's jump right into how I went about this. First, I got my pattern pieces. I printed them off, and then because I made multiple pairs of these for some of my custom shit Patreon tier folks, which thank you for wanting nice cozy slippers. It was such a endearing thing to make, and I'm glad I made y'all some because it got me to make me some, because it was a really fun therapeutic sew. So there are 4 pieces. I transferred them onto this thick plastic so I can make as many as I want and it won't shred pieces of paper. There's 3 pretty basic shapes and then this weird one. I had a really thick fleece and this star flannel for the lining, and then I also have these sticky pad things that my fairy god Cheryl sent me. A little tiny guy wanted to come hang out. This is helping. Yeah. So the first assembly step is attaching that weird bit to the wider, shorter rectangle. It's a little tricky to sew because it's a straight line attached to a pretty curvy piece. Pretty curve? You know what I'm trying to say. But then you stitch it, then notch it. So then I finger pressed that seam on the fleece pieces before I attached the longer, narrower rectangle at those side seams. And here's proof that I ironed the flannel pieces, even though, as I said, pain in the ass to deal with that curve. Ooh, and when you attach that longer rectangle to the lining pieces, you do want to leave a gap in one of those side seams. Just pick one on each boot tube. Boot tubes, woo! Okay, then it's time to make the bottom sandwiches. So we're going to take those rounded pieces and stack them with the grippy bit on the outside. If you have it, you can just have your regular fleece on the outside. Oh shit, but wait, don't put the lining in there. The lining gets attached completely separately, so just put the grippy bit on top of the fleece. Now, it does say to add wadding, but because the fleece I'm using is so fucking thick, I'm not adding that extra bit, but this is where you would attach it if you have it. Then I attached those bottom round bits to the bottom of the boots. Make sure you mark all the notches for this part in particular. This is the most important bit. So once that's done on all 4 pieces, I took the linings and flipped them right sides out and then stuffed them into the outer shell boot bit. Yes, my lining pieces didn't match up. That's because I didn't use the same amount of seam allowance, and this fabric has no give to it, whereas the fleece, it stretched into place, or else it would have had that same discrepancy. And I should have accounted for that in the pattern making, but mistakes were made. It's fine. Bert's probably gonna steal these from me anyway, so it's fine. And then once those are stitched around the top, I'm gonna take this, find the gap, and start flipping this right side out. The only step I'm not gonna finish for y'all to see is the hand sewing, because listen, I'm filming this at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. It's been a week, but I really wanted to make myself something. I wanted to make something for y'all, and this is honestly probably the best I felt in a couple days. So this has felt like self-care to me, and that is really fucking cool, actually. I probably wouldn't have done this if it weren't for me putting the pressure on myself to get a video out this week. I now have really rad slipper boots that, now that I see the fabric together, I have accidentally made Ramona flower boots. So the one part I'm not gonna finish for y'all is hand sewing this closed, but I'm gonna go watch Doctor Who in the other room once I get this edited while it's rendering to go up tomorrow, meaning today as you're seeing this, and just chill out and close that up. So as you saw, I flipped everything right side out and am tucking the lining in here. Now, if you have a free arm situation on your sewing machine, you can go around here. You can leave the boots high up like this, or fold the top down so you get a little accent situation happening. I think I'm gonna call these my sad girl slipper boots. It'll be fine, you know. They're here to cheer me up and infuse me with a little bit more magic than I would have otherwise. But that's it. I did spend a good chunk of this week while I was working on other things, making a very emo playlist to send out to all of my Mailtime Perk patrons. I picked the saddest, angstiest, sit in your car and cry soundtrack I could possibly come up with, and just leaning into how I've been feeling so far this year. And honestly, it was a lot of fun to put together, and that's something I take a lot of pride in, is making playlists. And last year was my first birthday in quarantine, and it was like an online party. You know, we did a live stream. I didn't play the music on it because YouTube's crap about copywritten music, but I got to send that out to everyone and like give them a little piece of, I don't know, music's such a personal thing, and sharing such a curated bit with people feels very special to me. And I put probably way too much time into it. Hope y'all like the tunes. And it was very therapeutic putting that playlist together. So for many reasons, thank you. And thank you to all of my patrons. All of you are fucking rock stars in the bug troll community, and you're making all of this happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This is all I got, and I'm trying to be kind to myself with where I'm at. And yeah, I'm still really glad I took the time to make these boots, and I will try not to stay up too late tonight editing. I hope it helps, and who doesn't love a free pattern? I will try to keep an eye out for more stuff like this in the future, because I think it just makes stuff more accessible. I mean, when I make my own patterns, I do my best to try to share them with you, especially for bags and stuff like that, because it can be really daunting just to be like, I don't know, make the thing. And yeah, breaking it down into its separate parts always helps me feel like I can actually achieve the goal I'm setting out for. All right, well, Bert clearly wants me to go sit with him on the couch. He kept trying to herd me into the bedroom where I tend to sit and edit, so the boss man has spoken. I'm gonna go, and I will see you all back here with another video next Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out. Slipper, boot, scoot, and boogie.